when Baggio refused to score, the most beautiful betrayal in football. Not all legends are written in goals. Roberto Baggio was 18, injured, and written off. Fiorentina gave him a chance. Years later, he gave it back by walking away from a penalty. Before Fiorentina, there was Vicenza. Roberto Baggio started his career with a small team from his home region, Veneto. At just 15 years old, he played his first professional game in Serie A C1. Right away, he impressed scouts with his balance, vision, and his amazing ability to move past defenders smoothly. During the 1984-85 season, he scored 12 goals and helped Vicenza move up to Serie A B. Fiorentina had already seen his potential. They made a deal to sign him even before the season ended. But then, something terrible happened. In May 1985, Baggio seriously injured his knee. He tore important ligaments and cartilage, the kind of damage that can end a footballer's career. And he was only 18. Most clubs would have walked away. Fiorentina didn't. They kept their promise, paid for his surgery, and welcomed him anyway. That act of trust created a deep connection between Baggio and Fiorentina, one that went beyond football. The Fiorentina years, a star is born. After healing from his injury, Baggio became the heart of Fiorentina. He scored 52 goals in 3 seasons, often playing as a second striker or attacking midfielder. His partnership with Stefano Borgonovo, known as B2, was one of the most exciting in Serie A. Fans loved him. Coaches praised him. One coach even said, "The angels sing in his legs." But Fiorentina had financial problems. In 1990, they sold Baggio to Juventus for a world record 16 billion lire, which was equivalent to €9 million at the time, or €20 million today. Florence in flames, the riots of May 1990. The news hit fans like a betrayal. Florence exploded with anger. People took to the streets, throwing bricks, chains, and even firebombs. 50 people were hurt, and 9 were arrested. The club's president, Flavio Pontello, locked himself inside the stadium for protection. To the fans, Baggio wasn't just a player, he was a symbol of loyalty, beauty, and hope. Moving to Juventus, Fiorentina's biggest rival, felt like a deep insult. Later, Baggio said, "I didn't want to leave. I felt I owed something to this club, these people, these fans. I might have left later, but not then." Mixed feelings in Turin, Juventus fans react. Juventus fans were excited to get Italy's brightest talent, but not everyone was happy. Many felt upset that Baggio didn't seem eager to join. His public comments about not wanting to leave Florence felt like a sign he didn't respect Juventus. Some fans worried he wouldn't fully accept the club. During his welcome, Baggio even refused to wear the Juventus scarf, which made things worse. Even though Baggio played brilliantly and scored 115 goals in 200 games, and even won the Ballon d'Or in 1993, he never completely won over all the Juventus supporters. April 6, 1991, the return. It had been 326 days since Baggio was sold to Juventus, not even a full year, when he returned to face Fiorentina at the Artemio Franchi Stadium. He walked onto the pitch in black and white, greeted not with applause but with fury. The Curva Fiesole, the beating heart of Fiorentina's supporters, erupted in boos. Banners branded him a traitor. His every touch drew whistles, but behind the anger was heartbreak from fans who had once chanted his name. Fiorentina scored first, just before halftime. Then came minute 51. Baggio picked up the ball near midfield and glided forward, cutting through defenders like they weren't there, light on his feet, smooth as silk on stone. The stadium went quiet. Everyone knew something was coming. A rough tackle from defender Salvatore hit him in the box. The referee didn't hesitate. Whistle. Penalty. Silence fell, not the silence of peace, but of held breath. Baggio stood still, staring at the penalty spot. Sweat beaded on his forehead. He closed his eyes for a second, maybe in thought, maybe in memory. Standing across from him was Gian Matteo Maregini, his former teammate and friend. They had trained together, laughed together, shared years in the same dressing room. The moment was loaded. He stepped forward, then stopped. His foot hovered. He looked at the ball, then shook his head, just once. The crowd murmured, confused. Some fans lowered their banners. A few gasped. Others watched in stunned silence, tears welling in their eyes. The anger had drained, replaced by something harder to process, heartbreak, maybe even respect. His teammates stood nearby, waiting. No pressure, no yelling. Just quiet understanding. Luigi De Agostini stepped in to take the shot instead. He hit it high, over the bar. Still. No celebration. No shouting. Just stillness. A teammate walked over and gently patted Baggio on the shoulder, but he didn't move. He kept his head down, lips pressed together, eyes misted but steady. He didn't take the penalty, not because he was afraid to miss, but because something deeper held him back. It wasn't disobedience. It wasn't weakness. It was gratitude to the club that believed in him when no one else would. The scarf and the storm. The match was almost over, but emotions were still high. Baggio had played with calm and elegance. He had earned the penalty but chose not to take it. The score was still 1-0 for Fiorentina. The crowd, once full of anger, started to change. The boos got quieter. The tension faded. Then, he was substituted. As Baggio walked off the field, head lowered, the stadium went silent. From the curva Fiesole, a scarf flew through the air, violet and white. A symbol of love, betrayal, and shared memories. Baggio saw it. He didn't hesitate. He bent down, picked it up, and placed it gently on his shoulders. The image was powerful. A Juventus jersey on his chest, a Fiorentina scarf around his neck. It was strange. It was honest. It was a message. The boos stopped. People began to clap. Fans who had shouted at him now stood up to applaud, not for the Juventus player, but for the man Florence had once raised as their own. That moment meant more than just football. It built a bridge between past and present. Between loyalty and duty. Between the man with the divine ponytail and the city that once loved him. Aftermath and legacy. Coach Luigi Maifredi defended him. If a former Juventus player had done the same, you'd be proud. Baggio explained. I didn't refuse the penalty. I was afraid I'd miss. We had agreed before the game that I wouldn't take it. But that's not what people remembered. What stayed in their minds was the silence, the scarf, and a man walking the difficult path between love and duty, and doing it with grace. If this story touched you, subscribe for more football stories. Let the legends live on, one voice at a time.